Boulevard and into the night. We're gonna play with all our might. We're gonna have a good time until the night turns into day. We like to go and see the rock bands when they play. We like the nightlife in L.A.
Max Factor, the famous makeup artist, once again struck by a car jaywalking in front of his makeup studio on Highland Boulevard in Hollywood. Jaywalking on Highland Boulevard, struck by a car. He was not killed outright when the car hit him, but he was so badly injured that a year later he died from his injuries. Once again, he didn't look both ways. Nathaniel West, who wrote Day of the Locust. Nathaniel West, very famous author, wrote Day of the Locust, famous Hollywood novel, who wrote Day of the Locust. Used to live in the El Nido apartments in Hollywood, where my pal Del Rey, the great guitar player, she used to live there when she was a kid. And they turned Day of the Locust into a movie with, what's his name, Mike?
Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland, yeah. Donald Sutherland was in that movie. Big hit movie. Anyway, Hawthorne, Nathaniel Hawthorne and his wife were jaywalking on Hollywood Boulevard. Both got struck by a car and they were both killed. You got to watch both ways.
Street?
Hollywood Boulevard. Brandon DeWild, famous Hollywood actor. He was one of the first hippies in Hollywood. He was the little boy in Shane with Alan Ladd, and he was the teenage brother of Paul Newman in HUD. He was in his car at a four-way, it's not a four-way stop, it's a two-way stop where Fountain Avenue crosses La Cienega Boulevard in Hollywood. It's a nasty intersection. I've had close calls there myself. Trying to cross on the stop sign in his car. Cut it too close, he got broadside and he was killed in his car. He was in his early 20s, right in front of the apartment building where Betty Davis lived. Once again, he didn't look both ways. Jerry Rubin, the 60s peace activist, yippie leader, one of the Chicago Seven in the trial for the riots at the Democratic Convention. Proponent of civil disobedience, ironically killed jaywalking on Pico Boulevard in Los Angeles, the most minor of infractions that a person could commit. He didn't look both ways. You gotta look both ways. Percy Kilbride, who played Pa Kettle in Ma and Pa Kettle. Percy Kilbride, who played Pa Kettle in the Ma and Pa Kettle movies. Once again, he didn't look both ways. He was jaywalking in Hollywood on Las Palmas Boulevard between Hollywood and Franklin. Struck by a car and killed. He didn't look both ways. Well, where did we leave off?
No.
And that's it for Mr. and Mrs. Nathaniel West, Percy Kilbride, who portrayed Pa Kettle in the Ma and Pa Kettle movies, Jerry Rubin, the 60s peace activist, Margaret Mitchell, who wrote Gone with the Wind, a famous Hollywood agent who was killed right where Pa Kettle was. He wasn't killed, he was castrated. Max Factor, the famous makeup artist, and Brandon DeWild, one of the first Hollywood hippies, star of Shane and HUD, all killed crossing the street in Los Angeles without looking both ways.